If I can invite onto the stage Olympic silver medalist Johnny Brownlee. And Olympic gold medalist Alistair Brownlee.
Feels a bit like Parkinson this on these cycles. Not quite as old as that. From my point of view, I just want to say it's might not go down to in these parts, but it's a fantastic honour for me to be interviewing two incredible Yorkshiremen first and foremost. You might want a medal too, but you know I think the pride of Yorkshire, fantastic achievement, and thanks for doing this. I think obviously now HUUB, with your help, you know, it's become synonymous with triathlon, obviously especially the swim part of it. But what made you choose HUUB, you know, all those years ago, a company in its infancy, without a wetsuit almost, or a very young wetsuit, still in trials? What was appealing to you about HUUB?
Yeah, well, we've been using HUUB wetsuits now for 4 years, and when we signed 4 years ago, obviously it was a pun. They didn't literally have a wetsuit, but Dino came to us with this kind of dream, and he's very, very excited, and I'm very, very passionate about my sport, and Dino himself is very, very passionate about creating wetsuits. And obviously when you train 35 hours a week, you spend hours doing such small, fine details, you want to have the fastest kit. And at that point in time, Dino promised us that he would come up with the fastest wetsuit, and I believe he has. I want to go into every race knowing that I've got no disadvantage. If anything, I've got an advantage over every single one else in that race. And with HUUB, I believe I have got that advantage. I do go into the race knowing that I've got the best wetsuit, the best kit, so I can swim fast in it well. And I think the big thing I was talking about is passion. We're there just with Dino there talking about designing swimming trunks, new wetsuits, new kit to swim in, new paddles, new pull buoys, and to have that someone who really cares that much and is close to the athletes, because I've never been a fan of sponsorship deals where you just say, oh, you know, here's some money, wear your logo and see you later, I'll see you in 4 years' time. For me, it'll be a lot more than that. With all other sponsors, we've tried to have that relationship and have someone who really, really cares, and I think with HUUB and with Dino, we've definitely got that.
And is that a big part of it? You know, the fact that HUUB do more testing, more research than everybody else, get yourselves involved in what you want, what works for you. I know you both wear different wetsuits, Archimedes and the Arius. Was that a big part of it, that you could have input into HUUB and how their wetsuits are designed?
I think so. I think, like Johnny said, we want to wear the fastest wetsuit, and you want to have an advantage over your competitors, which is a bit unfortunate because most of the field wear HUUB as well.
But, we might have to have those ones doctored a little bit.
Yeah, ours are special, and we've had a massive amount of input all over the years. Even we've tried loads of different wetsuits, continue to try loads of different wetsuits. You saw this morning, and we're fiddling around. You know, what happens if we go thinner there, thicker there? And in terms of just changing little bits sometimes, like the necks and the zippers, are just trying it. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. I think there was one point where I thought you could make the most buoyant wetsuit possible. I was like, Dino, make a wetsuit that's all 5 mil everywhere.
That's for the life jacket.
Yeah,
that's for the rest of us, that's not for swimmers, that's for survival.
It actually didn't work very well. Actually, I think my words were something like, it'd be like swimming on a surfboard, and you swim faster on a surfboard. So we have tried loads, and that input has been really, really important. I think both, so we know that we're going as fast as we can, but also just out of interest as well, and enjoyment and interaction. I think we both enjoy that.
Did you ever think they would make such a difference to the swim? You know, the wetsuit. I'm literally, I am the epileptic fish. You know, I'm a proper splasher and absolutely rubbish. But I tried some of the stuff, and I took 7 minutes on 4K time, just like that, with no extra effort. I mean, for you, you're probably not 30 minutes of it. But I mean, did you ever think they would get to that level where they would make such a huge difference?
Well, we know wetsuits make you faster in the swim, basically because the buoyancy in how fast they are through the water. And pretty much almost any wetsuit you put on is going to make you faster. And so it's how much faster it makes you is the key, and that's the combination obviously between the buoyancy, how good the material is in the water, and we actually think as much as anything actually the flexibility, so your ability to be able to swim in a wetsuit, and that's why the really thick wetsuit didn't work very well. So yeah, I think it's been an ongoing thing, and no, I didn't think a wetsuit could make as much difference it does. And more importantly, I think the thing we've realised is how actually fine the margins are. You know, if something's too thick, or you use too thick or too hard a type of neoprene in one place, it really doesn't work very well. So yeah, how critical it is getting the right wetsuit, the right neoprene in different places is really important.
And for all of us that struggle really badly, how do you get out of the thing quickly?
I've never struggled that much getting around mine. There's a few little changes you make. You can shorten the legs, you can cut some material off the legs if you want to do that. You can put oil on, some kind of lubricant on your body. For me, getting the top half of the wetsuit off has never been a problem. I put oil on, I think more for my head more than anything. I don't think it didn't actually make that much easier. And I think to stay calm. I'm a very process person when it comes to the last bit of the swim. I'm always thinking, right, what am I going to do first? I'm going to take my zip off at this point in position. I'm going to take my left arm first, and my right arm. And then I think a big tip, which actually the British coaches told me, was as you run in transition, make sure you pull your wetsuit below your waist. Because if you're trying to take it off from above your waist, you're always going to get tangled. So take that last step, take it off below your waist, and then take it off the whole way. But stay calm. We see all the time when people panicking and trying to flap around and take wetsuits off and falling over. But it shouldn't be that difficult. If you've done a little bit of practice, it should come off pretty easily.
You both ride, obviously, British branded bikes. Was part of wearing British, buying as a HUUB, another British brand, was that part of your thinking?
It was. We're very, very British proud people, very Yorkshire proud. But that was actually a very similar story to HUUB. The Boardman Bikes contacted us right when they didn't have bikes. They actually contacted Alistair first through just a friend. And then at the same time I didn't have a sponsor, so I phoned the guy up and said, "Can I have a bike please?" And he sent me a frame the next day. And at that point again, it was a company just starting.
They didn't make you buy your own wheels, did they?
I mean, I did at the time, yeah. I was very, very young. I think again I've been sponsored by Boardman Bikes since I was about 18 years old, so that started again from a company with didn't have a bike. And that's been great being part of that whole journey of seeing the bike company go from not having a bike now to being a very large bike company, and where again be involved in designing those bikes and tweaking little things and coming up with what I believe is again similar to the HUUB wetsuits, the fastest bike on the market, fastest bike I can ride in triathlon. And that is very, very strong. When you're on that start line, you have got the fastest kit.
You've both obviously been involved in two new ventures, effectively, in terms of business. Alistair, I think you're doing a master's degree in finance at the moment, or you were?
Yeah, I finished it.
You finished it?
Just about, yeah.
Well, no. Yes or no?
Yeah, no, I finished it.
You have finished it. I think that's a fantastic achievement. Obviously, you've got an interest in business as well. And obviously, the stage you've been through with bikes, with wetsuits. Is that where you're heading after triathlon? I mean, is it fashion brand? Is it cocktail bar?
Okay.
Well, that's what I thought I'd ask. I had to ask the question.
Yeah, I've got a big plan for after triathlon to start my own fashion line, just women's fashion.
Modelled by Johnny?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Some days I wake up and I'm like, nah, all I really want to do is ride my bike to the cafe with my mates every day. And other days I wake up and I think it'd be fantastic to do something completely different outside of sport or in some other sport, and just try and be successful with that. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do out of a triathlon, but along the way in sport you come across good opportunities like HUUB and other stuff, which is interesting, which is part of sport and part of business, I guess, and that is quite interesting. And it's obviously sport is always going to be my priority, and performance is everything really. That's the most important thing. But it's nice to have some little projects on the side that interest you as well.
Johnny, just under a month, ITU series kicks off, obviously in Abu Dhabi. Is it going to be different this year? I mean, Alistair, I think, is not going to be there, or not going to be on the start line for most of them, unless he turns up a couple. Obviously, it looks like Gomez might be back, but he's been doing some 70.3, some longer stuff. Is the top 3, top 10 going to change this year?
Hopefully it gives me a chance to win a few. But yeah, as far as the whole series goes, Alistair and Gomez haven't been there for the last year. Alistair was injured for quite a lot of the year and then came back. But yeah, it will change. I've raced for the last 6 years with Alistair and Gomez, and they've been the competitive side. They've kind of forced the way that the races have gone. We've been very fast swims and bikes and small groups have been getting ahead on the swim, the bike, and hopefully that isn't going to change. Hopefully there'll still be a group that's motivated, but I'm looking forward to a new challenge, and I'm looking forward to, in a way, of racing, and hopefully hitting the fittest I can be in my career, at the peak of my career, and hopefully becoming world champion. Obviously I was about 200 metres away from becoming world champion last year and messed it up, but hopefully this time I can do it and become world champion. I'll start racing, not in the first one. I'll probably go to Gold Coast in April and start my series then. And the year after the Olympics is always a very interesting one. People retire. Some people have been very busy after the Olympics and are not as fit at the early races. So it's always an interesting World Championships the year after. But we'll see. Everyone always tells themselves things are going to change, but at the end of the day, not much really changes. It's still a swim by run. Simple. That easy. Alistair, so what are your plans now? Because obviously a lot of rumours that you're not going to do the ITU series. New things on the horizon?
Yeah, well now it gives me the opportunity to try some slightly different type of racing, which is fantastic. I still want to keep my foot in the door of some ITU racing, so I definitely want to race Leeds, obviously, and maybe a couple of others, but we'll see how the season goes. My kind of general idea is that at the end of next year, so 2018, I'll have had plenty of time to try and trial some other stuff, long distance racing, half Ironman racing, and maybe full distance, we'll see. But I'll have then an idea whether this is the thing that really motivates me, and this is what I want to do. I want to try and succeed at that, and ultimately try and win Hawaii, which is the goal in long distance racing, or maybe refocus and try and be back to be successful in Tokyo. So
I assume Kona's, to win Kona is obviously maybe the long-term ambition. What's your route to get there? Obviously you're talking about 18 months' time or so.
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily know if I'll be there in 18 months' time, but something like, this year focusing on the half Ironman, trying to do well at that and winning that, and then at some point looking to do an Ironman that would then effectively get you into Kona. But we'll see. I think Kona is probably the kind of thing you can turn up once and...
You mean that Kona aren't just going to let you in? And just do it?
I don't think so, no.
They let Ramsey do it.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, can you cook?
No.
Fried egg? Can you drop a few F-bombs? we can probably get you in.
Yeah, could do that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a great new challenge for you. But what about 2020? Are you going to come back? Surely a third gold medal has to be within your thinking. You might get
honestly, I think I'd love to be there in Tokyo. I think you want to be the Olympics. The Olympics is what you do it for. It's what I did it for. When I was 10 years old, you dream about going to the Olympics, and I never dreamed of winning it twice. Never mind trying to win it 3 times. So I feel like in lots of ways I have fulfilled that dream. But of course, it's always there on the horizon, and it'd be impossible to sit here and say no. I'm definitely not going to be in Tokyo. And at the end of the day, I probably would love to be there, even if I was being successful at Ironman. I think I'd still sit there and watch the race and think, I'd quite like to be here doing this race, really. But we'll see. I think the next couple of years give me a chance to see if I like the longer stuff, see how much I enjoy it, and it motivates me and allows me to set new goals, and then it allows me time after that to refocus and see. Obviously, big thing on the horizon with the relay being in it as well as another potentially interesting thing. But yeah, we'll have to see. And
I think there's rumours as well that the triathlon might become a shorter distance in 2020. Would that benefit you or be a disadvantage?
Yeah, that's the rumour. So the rumours are that triathlons will go for the Olympic distance format now, where it takes about 2 hours to basically half that. And are the rumours true? I don't think they are, and I think it'll still remain Olympic distance for Tokyo, and I think after that it'll go down to sprint. And would it suit me? Initially I thought no. I like the endurance format of it. I think I'm a very endurance athlete. I like the idea that triathlon appears to be a very hard sport in the Olympics, and I think it should stay like that, and that suits me. But then I actually look back at a lot of the races that I've done, and the only races I've won in the last few years have been sprint races, really. So I think in many ways sprint races test an all-round triathlete, because people take more risks on the swim. You come out the swim with a small gap in the bike, and people commit to that 20k on the bike and think, right, I'm not saving myself for a 10km run. I'm only going to run 5 kilometres, so 20-second gap over 5 kilometres is a big gap, so people kind of work hard for that. whereas a 20-second gap over a 10-kilometre run, people are just too scared of getting caught, so they're not prepared to work that hard for that lead. So in many ways, I think the sprint suits an all-round triathlete, which is good for us. But I think it'd be sad to see it change. Like I said, what's great about triathlon, what people come up to me and said who have never watched it before is, your sport was really hard, and when I watched it, it was really hard, and that's a good thing. So it'd be a shame to lose that. But the other side of that, of getting a relay in, I think it'd be great for the sport to have a second medal in triathlon, a second bit of exposure in the Olympics would be really, really good. And I think relay in triathlon is a great sport. It's a male and female racing together. The team aspect of it, it's exciting. If you don't even like the sport, it's quite cool to watch people dive in and do like belly flops into the water and that kind of thing. So I think it's a great sport to have in the Olympics. It's fast, it's furious, and it's good to watch.
You've obviously got a fantastic older brother that's been really kind to you and moved aside the next couple of years to give you half a chance. But how hard has it been chasing him, constantly for the last 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it is? Has that been difficult? Or has it been an inspiration?
Well, it started off as an inspiration, I suppose. I still remember that time when he came back and he put his Great Britain kit on the kitchen table the first time, and I thought, wow, I want some Great Britain kit. I was only 13 years old. And then, obviously, we go through the ages. I saw Alistair compete in Beijing Olympics when I was there watching him stand, and I thought he was going to win until about 7k, and then he fell back and came 12th. And then he became world champion, and I thought, maybe I could be good at this as well. So it wasn't a massive inspiration in them times, but it's been great to go through the journey together, the journey of training together, the journey, and I've been very lucky, my 2 Olympics, to be on the start line next to Alistair, actually physically next to him on the pontoon, and diving into the water next to him, and have someone who you trust in the race, you can race tactically together. But at the same time, it has been tough that I've not won an awful lot. I'm very good at coming second.
You've done all right. You've down on yourself.
I've done all right, but I'd like to win more. But yet, it's an interesting relationship because in London, I saw how he was training before the race, and I knew he was incredibly fit going into London 2012. And I basically was on that start line knowing that he'd beat me already because I saw what he was doing in training. In Rio, it was a bit different. I think we were a lot closer. In run sessions before, we were very, very even, and I was on that start line in Rio thinking, I've got us a good chance of Alistair at winning. So we definitely got closer, but he still beat me, and hopefully in Tokyo, either if he's there or not, I'll have more chance of getting a gold medal.
You're probably 2 of the most famous brothers, in sport at the moment. How does your, I'd like to say little brother, but little big brother feel about it? I mean, does he ever feel left out? I take it he doesn't want to be a triathlete.
No, he doesn't want to be a triathlete. He hates triathlon, I think, actually. His way of dealing with that is he went to the same school as us, so he had a lot of pressure on him to do the same sports as us. When he came to the cross-country races, he expected to win. So his way of dealing with that was just be awful and just walk around and come last, and not very interested. He's completely different to us. He's not interested in triathlon. He was a rugby player. I believe he could have played to quite a high level, but he couldn't bother with that either. He's quite happy what he does, and it's great having Ed around because he just doesn't care. Whatever happens, he's just the same old guy. It doesn't matter whether we've won races, lost races, we go home and he's just the same. And that's been really good. I think it's been nice to see him not get dragged into doing what we do, and go and live his own life completely.
Alistair, we'll talk about spotting, sportsman. Did you ever think a triathlete would be even runner-up?
No, well, it's funny, isn't it? You kind of go through the whole process.
Because let's be honest, Andy Murray's boring. Sports personality?
I have had every friend in the world probably telling me that this means you've got a worse personality than Andy Murray.
He's Scottish.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean he's got a bad personality. So I've heard that joke a lot of times, and I had to take it on the chin. And but yeah, Saturday this time last year, I couldn't have dreamed. I don't think anyone would have thought a triathlete be second in spotted. There's literally no. At one point, I think someone gave me their spotted trophy, and I said, I'll never ever see one of these in my career. It doesn't matter what I do in triathlon. I'll never ever get to hold one of these. And little did I know that Carrie, my brother, would get me one, but you learn something. And but yeah, you go through the whole motion, and as I was kind of in the lead up to it, I thought I might have a chance here. The whole Mexico thing. I think hit a different demographic of people, and if we get them voting, you never know what might happen. And a good local vote. So the year before, I knew that Kevin Sinfield had got a massive, basically Leeds and Rugby League vote, which was actually far more votes than I got, and would have probably been enough to win Spotty. So you never quite know. But then I was sat there waiting just before they announced the result, and I was like, I'm not sure if I want to win yet, because it means I'm going to have to stand up there and make a speech. So it was bittersweet when they said I'd come second.
Johnny, this might be a little bit awkward, bearing in mind where Leeds are quite a bit higher than Derby.
Yeah, we should be close to Hyde Park as well. We all know what happened last time Leeds played there.
Oh, don't worry. Leeds made my career, Derby finished it. So, no real faith in them as a football club. But Yorkshire over the last 8 years or so, I mean, there's been a massive hotbed, especially in athletics and sporting talent. What's the reasoning, behind that, do you think?
Yeah, well, Leeds and Yorkshire have really become a sporting county, sporting city now. But in Leeds, for example, when I started triathlon at university, there was 4 or 5 people who did it. And now we have 5 squads of about 20-25 people at both universities. And we have the Leeds World Series, we have our Brownlee Foundation at the bottom getting kids involved. So it's a perfect triathlon pyramid. And as for what it is, I think the big thing is the underlying sporting culture that was always there. So for us, obviously the sport that we do, there's amazing swimming groups when we were very young joining that. There was cycling groups where we could go around to the corner of our road and meet a group of sometimes 50 people between the ages of 15 and 80 who would go out riding with us, and it was absolutely incredible to be able to do that. And that's because, like I said, the sporting culture, but also the environment, the fact that you can be out of Leeds city centre in 5 minutes. I mean, the beautiful Yorkshire Dales made a big difference. It helped me massively because it made my training enjoyable. It meant that when I went to ride a bike, it was good fun. And I actually genuinely enjoyed riding a bike and enjoyed doing the training. But I think the big thing is that sporting culture. The running races every weekend, the cycle races, the cycle group, the swimming group, they've been so important. And Leeds really has become a great city for sport now, and Yorkshire a great county. I think we've got a better hosting events. The Tour de France was a big thing in Leeds and in Yorkshire. The Tour de Yorkshire cycle races now, the Leeds World Series, have really been kind of finished off as a great sporting city. And
how proud are you two for, I think, effectively making triathlon pretty mainstream in this country? I mean, back in the day, the likes of Dino especially thought it was, for those, Dino's told me this, for those that weren't quite good enough for one sport. I think that's not quite sure that's fair, Dino.
I still get told that, so don't about that.
But now, and it was, even when I was playing football 15 years ago, triathlon was very, very niche, and suddenly now, I think, mainly because of you two guys, triathlon has become absolutely massive in this country. You say triathlon, and instantly people go, the Brownlee brothers. I mean, that must make you very, very proud.
Oh, it makes me very, very proud. I remember when I first started triathlon, people I was at school and we were going to do a triathlon at the weekend, they said, does that involve shooting and riding a horse? It's like, it's a different sport. So yeah, it was a very, very small sport. But to see where it is now, it makes me incredibly proud. The fact that even the triathletes get recognised around Leeds, around Yorkshire, is also very, very proud. The fact that more people follow the World Series. People actively follow the World Series now and ask me on the street corners about Javier Gomez and his injury and things like that. It's incredible, and I think it's become, what's good about triathlon is the kind of the amateur side of it as well. So you can compete, for example, at Leeds World Series, you can compete on the same course as the leagues. So on a Sunday morning, there's the amateurs who can race, and they can do a very, very similar course to us a few hours later. And it's got a great feeling about it, and it's a great challenge sport, whereas marathon running, probably 10 years ago, was a sport that you wanted to do for a challenge. And I think triathlon's that sport, and there's a few reasons for that. The main one is it's exciting, there's always some training you can do. It involves a lot of kit, which is a good thing if you like spending money on kit.
HUUB do some great kit, by the way. More than bikes as well.
Yeah, there's always some great, you can always train, there's always something you can work on, and it's not like running where if you get bored of running and you want to run a marathon, you've got to keep on running, whereas you can always improve your swimming or your cycling, and I think that's what makes it a really, really exciting sport.
Now, I think I've done very well up to now, but I've got to mention South America. I heard you two had a fantastic ping pong game in Rio. Who won? I heard there was a bit of not so brotherly love going on in a table tennis tournament during an interview.
In the Adidas one, I think.
Did Johnny win? Okay.
I was just told there was a ping pong tournament while you did a TV interview that got a little bit feisty and the interview went out the window.
Yeah.
An argument over balls in and balls out.
Yeah, it sounds like Johnny getting over competitive, to be honest. I can't remember the exact occasion, but that's what it sounds like. We were just having a nice social game, and then Johnny got carried away, and it got ruined.
but no, seriously though, South America. We've heard you talk about it a million times. But I want to know, if you'd been in second place, and if it meant you winning it and running past him, would you have left him? Because I would have done.
At that position, I don't know. It would have been really difficult.
Another gold medal for
I
it.
can't imagine myself being in second place on that day. Is the easy way to answer the question. I don't know. I think I probably would have helped him, but yeah.
What, and dropped him just before the line?
Quite possibly. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have pushed him over before me.
No, I don't blame him. I'm sure you've heard so much about that, but I think what you did was fantastic. I know you took some stick in some certain parts of the media, so be or whatever, but I think you did exactly the right thing, and I'm sure everybody else here thinks you did exactly the right thing. Not sure what Johnny thinks, but he didn't have a choice at the time, did he?
I think he might have thought it was the right thing at the time, but as I've reminded him every day since.
Johnny, is that the thing? How often does he mention it?
Normally about lunchtime, he wants me to buy lunch. So about every lunchtime.
Do you think he'll ever stop? No. Will that brotherly thing always be there? I suppose ultimately, the worry is that is what you may be remembered for in 20, 30, 40 years time, however many championships you win.
Yeah, and that's actually a worrying thing, or an uncomfortable thing. The fact that I might or will get remembered for being the one who's basically unconscious running down the finishing straight, and your brother held me across the line, rather than winning all the medals I've won or championships that I've won, which is a bit, it's uncomfortable, it's a bit of a shame really. I know it's not a bad thing to remember, well, it's not a bad thing for Alistair to remember by, but I'm not sure about me. But yes, it's strange in sport when you think...
Do you think it's going to be on question of sport in years to come? What happened next? What people have got?
Yeah, hopefully I'm on the team then, so we get a point. But it'd be nice. What I keep saying is it's really, really uncomfortable get remembered for that. You normally think by winning medals, by winning things, you kind of get more recognition that way. But to get more recognition from losing the World Championships, and that night when I was back home, I just thought, I lost a chance to become World Champion then. And that really upset me, and then to get all the nice messages and all the things afterwards was just strange and uncomfortable. But it's been good for the sport, it's been good for triathlon, good for the World Series, and great for Alistair's spotty chances. So, although I actually wanted Alistair to win spotty because they meant he had to go up there and he probably had to thank me, which would have been quite nice.
We've got some questions coming from social media, from Facebook, from Twitter. I'll just run through quite quickly to the pair of you. Are there any races or events on your bucket list that you'd like to try that hasn't done yet?
Yeah, loads. I think one of the things a lot of people forget when you're a professional athlete, I've been triathlon since I was 8 years old, so there's literally hundreds of things out there I'd like to do, from different triathlons to very kind of simple one, Alcatraz, to extreme ones, to obviously Kona, but all sorts of races, to long distance mountain races, to marathons, literally hundreds of events out there. One of the fantastic things about professional sport is you get to do sport and your passion for a living, but also it's really restrictive to a lot of these events.
But you'll get VIP entry and VIP treatment.
Maybe, but when I'm 50, I might,
I think those Olympic gold medals might just get a little bit anyway at MBE. Johnny, anything in particularly outrageous that people, not necessarily maybe not to do with sport, that's on your bucket list of an event to do?
Well, I've always thought about the challenges like Cycross Europe, but as far as the events go, the Three Peaks running race in Yorkshire, so the Yorkshire Three Peaks, I've been to watch it and I'd love to do that. So basically that's a mountain marathon. And then the London Marathon, I've obviously coming from an endurance sport background, watching a London Marathon on TV.
I've done something the Browlees haven't done.
I love to.
I'm faster at the London Marathon than the Browlees.
What was your time?
3:14.
Oh, that's alright.
Not bad for an old man.
Yeah, but just them kind of events. So, and then definitely the challenges, ride up South America, something like that. But I think I'll start off small, the 3 peaks first.
Another one coming in from Twitter. What's your guilty pleasures in terms of food, TV, chilling out? You know, is it going to the pub, nice cocktail, gin and tonic, pint of lager, fish and chips?
As far as what I really like chocolate. I really like fish and chips. One of the first things I do when I get home from a long trip away is go to the local chippy and get fish and chips. But part of what I do out away from sport, away from triathlon anyway, is watch sport. Leeds Rhinos, Leeds United, any single sport like that. So I try and go to Ellen Road as much as I can, although it doesn't really hard with training. I go and watch Leeds Rhinos, so I try and do that as much as I can.
Alistair, the one thing you do that you probably shouldn't to help your sport?
Drink Browlees. I try kind of have a general attitude that, you know, everything in moderation is pretty good. So yeah, okay, chocolate isn't necessarily good for you, but when you eat a bit of chocolate after you've trained hard, and you know, in moderation, nothing is particularly bad for you. So I kind of try and live my life like that at home.
Another one coming in here. Any tattoos that we've not seen? Any Olympic rings? Anything we should know about that's
not yet.
That's hidden?
Not yet.
Maybe it's the 3rd gold.
Maybe.
What else have we got? What's the best pun or joke you've heard about carrying Johnny over the line? Is there something you've actually thought, I like that one?
Some of my friends sent me a picture of us coming down the finish line when I was mocked up as Mother Teresa. That was quite funny. I think as funny as that, but it's mostly that Johnny gets it almost every day. Someone's saying, "Do some water, mate. You know, make sure you stay hydrated."
I think the last one. If you weren't pro triathletes and legends like you are, what sport would you have picked to be professional at?
I like to think I'll be a footballer, but you could probably tell me.
Is that just for the money?
Oh, not for money at all. I'm playing for Leeds United for free.
Yeah, but no, everybody says that until you look at the guy next to you that's earning 20 grand a week and you go, hang on a minute, I'm doing the same job as that. That's not strictly true. That works about a week.
Yeah, I don't know. Alistair earns more than me.
Yeah, but I do a slightly better job, don't I? I'm very realistic in that I know I definitely couldn't do football. In fact, I don't think anyone would have them in the Sunday League side. So,
well, it's not about what you could do. What would be your dream for the sport and passion, effectively?
I think running probably. I would have loved to have run on the Olympics on the track and marathons.
You're not a million miles away from that. Have you ever thought of? Obviously, now you're moving away from the ITU series. Have you ever thought of actually? You could probably maybe do a 5k or a 10k. You've ever thought about just training for that for a couple of years?
Yeah, I've done a bit of that, and I think I definitely, obviously, could get faster and could get on the verge of being.
What, your 10k 29 minutes?
I've run 28:30, and to qualify for the Olympics is kind of 28 minutes, and I could definitely get in that kind of ballpark thing. But then to be
that's about swimming a bike first.
Yeah.
Might have a chance.
Yeah. But then to get better than that and effectively race the best in the world, I think is too far, is impossible effectively. Every 10 seconds once you go under 28 minutes, it's getting harder and harder and harder. So I couldn't be worlds, competing at world level at it, no way.
Well, I just want to congratulate you both. I think you're absolutely fantastic. Wish you all the luck in whatever you're going to do, Alistair, 70.3s, Ironman. Hopefully we're going to see you in Kona, picking up that. Johnny, hopefully we're going to see you win the World Series and then maybe beat your brother in Tokyo. Fingers crossed. But I think if we always put our hands together and thank Johnny.